This is Modern Persian Food,
a culinary podcast for today's food enthusiast.
We talk about classic Persian flavors,
modern recipes,
and embracing culture and identity through food.
I'm Bita.
And I'm also Bita.
Welcome to our show.
We're going to be talking today about Sekanjabin. And Sekanjabin is a versatile syrup that is used in a few different recipes that we're going to talk about today. And it's perfect for the warmer weather coming, and it has notes of mint and vinegar and sweetness. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. How you doing, Bita Jun?
Hi everyone. I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to actually talk about Sekanjabin, a single ingredient episode. And can you tell us, what is Sekanjabin?
Great question. What it is it's basically a syrup made of vinegar and honey and with the flavors of fresh mint. The honey is basically boiled with the vinegar, white wine vinegar, to make a simple syrup. And then the vinegar is added. And then from there, it's served in a few different ways. What are some of the ways that we enjoy the Sekanjabin?
When I think of Sekanjabin, the first thought that I have is kahu Sekanjabin, which we talked about it briefly during our Sekanjabin episode, our New Year's episode, the 13th day of the Persian New Year, where everyone goes out and picnics. And that's a fun thing to take on that picnic. Kahu Sekanjabin. Kahu is lettuce, so basically romaine lettuce. And Sekanjabin is this dip that you're talking about, this syrup. And what people would do is you get the leaves of the romaine lettuce and kind of roll them up and then dip it into the syrup and then take a bite out of it. And it's super refreshing. The mint and the vinegar and the sweetness, all of that together is very bright and refreshing, especially on a hot day. And it's fun to gather with everybody and everyone eat that together. And what you can do is also put the syrup into small bowls or little shallow plates, and everyone kind of gets their own, and everyone can get gem lettuce, gem romaine little head, or a regular romaine and cut in half or in quarters, and everyone kind of has the opportunity to make their own roll that they dip into the Sekanjabin. So when I think of Sekanjabin, my first thought is kahu Sekanjabin that you have mostly when the weather is warm with romaine lettuce.
Yeah. So for the non-Farsi speakers or the limited like myself, kahu means lettuce. Mm-hmm. Sekanjabin is the syrup that we described. And the dish that you just told us about, I think of it like a deconstructed salad. So
exactly.
You go to the fancy restaurants and they give you the huge hunk of lettuce. That's what it is. You get the entire piece of romaine and you dip it, and it's got a cooling quality. We talk about digestion and health benefits in ancient Iranian medicines, and this is one of them, a balanced food that's supposed to just not only be delicious, but it cools your system on a hot day and balances and helps with digestion.
Yeah.
What are some other ways that this syrup is used?
Well, there's also the sharbat Sekanjabin, which is a drink. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so it is a drink that is a non-alcoholic drink traditionally. And again, it's made with the honey and white wine vinegar syrup with fresh mint. And the other thing that's in it is grated cucumber. So you can kind of play with the proportions in terms of how sweet you like it to be and adjust the concentration. Mm-hmm. For me, I really like about a cup, depending how much you're making, about a cup of honey to a cup of water, and then about a half a cup of vinegar. You could muddle the mint if you want. And then again, you could either use sliced cucumber or grated cucumber is the traditional form. And, for a modern version on a hot day, you could turn this into an actual cocktail, right? Mm-hmm. Throw in a splash of vodka. How are you picturing this drink, as a mocktail or a real cocktail?
I think it'll depend on who I'm drinking it with.
Right.
But yeah, the addition of the cucumber. So I think you really could go either way. Sharbat Sekanjabin is so delicious with cucumber, but you don't even have to have cucumber in it. It's really just the syrup mixed with the water on ice. When I think of how I envision and how I picture that is in a tall glass with a spoon in it so people can mix it up as they like.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't want to have chunks of cucumber in your drink, you could put a couple of slices as a garnish. It also would be lovely with lemon or lime as a garnish.
Or even just a little bit of fresh mint as a garnish.
Absolutely. I really like mojitos. Anything with a fresh herb in it in terms of a mocktail or a cocktail. And then just muddling it. Do you muddle your herbs when you make drinks and cocktails?
Yeah, either muddle it or just even like tear it up a little bit will definitely get more flavor out. But a lot of times I actually love how it looks, just like the whole leaf too. Like if I'm putting mint, like a sprig of mint in the glass. I'm thinking more actually like when I make hot water with mint, and then you could just have like the beautiful mint just hanging out as the water is like turning a light pale green color. So I love actually keeping the garnish or the mint in its entirety and not muddling it or tearing it up. But yeah, tearing it up or muddling it definitely gets more of those flavors out.
Definitely. So some people make simple syrup with sugar. It can be done. And I've also seen this drink made with apple cider vinegar. Again, that's not the traditional form. It would change the flavor a bit. You know, I do like using apple cider vinegar sometimes, especially in salad dressings. And, you know, it has some health benefits. What kind of vinegars do you keep in the house?
Apple cider vinegar for sure. I like red wine and white wine vinegar. I love having balsamic vinegar. And I actually love keeping like a balsamic glaze in the house too. Can also substitute pomegranate molasses or pomegranate syrup too with the aged balsamic syrup. So like I love actually drizzling that like on a salad or like Brussels sprouts to really like brighten the flavor, or even like, you know, roasted butternut squash, for example. I love having the balsamic glaze on top of that too.
I do too.
So what are some modern ways that you could use Sekanjabin outside of the kahu Sekanjabin and the sharbat drink?
What comes to mind is right away is just to make it into a salad dressing.
Uh-huh.
The flavor notes are really interesting because it's got sweet and sour. It's got sweet from the honey or sugar, and then it's got sort of like
Tang.
Yeah. It would be really simple to make a salad dressing because essentially the lettuce dipped into the Sekanjabin is like a dressing. So
Great idea.
very yummy. Little minty dressing.
Yeah, it's a versatile little sauce that's pretty easy to make. So that's Sekanjabin, everybody. Hope you guys can try some this summer.
Yeah, put it in your back pocket for summer.
And definitely, if you're going to be entertaining, having a tray full of Sharbat Sekanjabin poolside sounds lovely.
Maybe in a mule cup.
Oh, that's a great idea. A Persian mule.
A Persian mule. You could add a little bubbly to it.
Yeah.
A little LaCroix or something carbonated.
Yeah, like sparkling wine or something to it too. All right, there we go. I think we know what we're going to have at the pool party.
Okay, yes. Remind me.
Yeah. Okay.
Today's Ask the Bee comes from Instagram. And the question is, what can you substitute for verjus? In Farsi, verjus is abure.
Yeah, abure. Gure is the tiny little unripe grapes. They're very tart. They're very sour. In a recipe, I've had people who were just looking at picture who didn't know Persian food thought that they were like peas. The shape could be similar, but they're definitely not peas. They're unripe grapes. So gure is beautiful in stews. It adds a lovely brightness. And then the juice of it, verjus, is almost like a wine vinegar type of flavor. It's super sour, like in a khorsh bademjun with like eggplants or other stews that kind of have like a rich sauce. It really brightens that up. The juice of it you can use in foods, which is beautiful, in stews. You could also use them in like salad dressings, in cocktails. Sounds delicious too. It's just a really sour flavor. So if we're looking for a substitute for that, I would say using lemon juice or lime juice or some other tart citrus like a grapefruit would be a good substitution if you can't find verjus. Like specifically like Sarat Shirazi is like really beautiful with that.
Is it verjus or is it verjuice?
I think you pronounce it verjus.
Can you make a drink with it?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Let's I think we could definitely make a drink with it. It's beautiful, like with salads. It's delicate. It's a little bit unique. So lemon juice would probably be my first substitution for that. Lemon, lime, or other citruses that you could use, I would say is probably your best bet for a substitution.
Yeah, as you know, in Persian cuisine, the sours are a big part of the flavor essences. And so that would be suitable just to use a lemon juice. Thank you, Beta June. Great question.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Beta June. Have a great day and see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
You've been listening to the Modern Persian Food Podcast with Beta and Beta. Thanks for spending time with us. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling a friend or giving us a good rating. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app or find us online at modernpersianfood.com or on Instagram for the recipes and information we talked about today. We'd love to hear your thoughts and see you next time.